Good evening and welcome to Metro Focus. I'm Jack Ford. According to a report in the Times of London, former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg is eyeing a run for the White House in 2020. His hope is to top the Democratic ticket. Despite previously considering running as an independent, you'll recall that when he presided over City Hall, Bloomberg did so as a Republican. Armed with an estimated personal fortune of more than $50 billion, the 76-year-old Bloomberg would not have any issue financing the campaign if he decides to run. That news over the weekend capped what was a busy week in New York politics, with Governor Andrew Cuomo easily defeating his Democratic gubernatorial challenger, Sex and the City actress Cynthia Nixon. Meanwhile, a wave of young progressives secured victories in state Senate primary races, ousting members of the Independent Democratic Conference, or IDC, who had caucused with Republicans, an alliance that caused much consternation among many in Albany. There is plenty of politics to discuss, both locally and nationally, and for that, we're pleased to welcome back the editor-in-chief of City and State New York, John Lentz, to Metro Focus. John, always good to see you.
Good to see you, John.
It always seems like we have a lot to talk about.
Indeed.
And let's start with the notion of former Mayor Bloomberg running for president. Now, we've heard this before in the past, been floated regularly. We know he has seriously considered it in the past. What to you sounds different about this?
Well, more of it sounds the same. I mean, 2008, 2012, 2016, he's been in the conversation. He's floated it himself. He's really looked seriously, obviously never actually jumped in. As you noted, right, as a Democrat, could he win the Democratic primary? Could he succeed in Iowa, in New Hampshire, and some of these states, especially in an era where not only with Trump do you have the Republican Party going right, but you have the Democratic Party moving left? So I think that's a big question.
How about the notion of him saying, look, I was a Republican, but I look to be an independent. I'm a little bit more of a centrist, certainly on social issues. Do you think that the climate might be better for him now to run than it would have been for 8, 12 years in the past?
It's a good question. It's hard to say. But again, you see increasing polarization right now. You see both parties going to the extremes. It might be hard for him to get through the primaries, though I think there is an appetite by some voters for someone in the middle. Again, as a reaction to that polarization. I don't know if he can get there. You also mentioned he's 76. He's not a young man anymore, and maybe
he looks great. He looks great.
Right.
He's in good shape.
Right.
But that's a number.
That's a number
they'd have to deal with.
Right. And in terms of his record too, right? Gun rights, environment. He was really strong with core Democratic positions, but on things like criminal justice reform, some other issues, economic inequality, a very big issue for the Democratic Party. He's not really in sync with a lot of Democratic primary voters.
How soon do you think he would have to actually put his flag in the ground and say, okay, I'm now a candidate?
I think he could wait a bit longer. He could largely self-fund. You mentioned his wealth, and that makes him a bit unusual. Again, he's done this before. It does make him part of the conversation, probably gives him some more influence. But whether he gets in, it's hard to say. I wouldn't be surprised if he just talks about it for a while and then opts not to in the end.
All right, let's shift over and take a look at your weekly list of winners and losers. The top of the list of winners, Governor Andrew Cuomo. Why and what sort of, how does it position him, do you think, to move forward?
Sure, yeah. Well, Thursday was the state Democratic primaries. The governor did have a challenge from Cynthia Nixon. She got a lot of visibility, obviously, her acting career, her celebrity. Didn't really translate, though. He won pretty handily, I think close to 2/3 of the vote. Interestingly enough, on the campaign trail, the governor did say during a debate he will not run for president. He'd been eyed.
And he was pretty definitive. I mean, he was pushed to be very definitive about. Were you surprised?
I was surprised by that. Among the Albany press corps for a long time, people have thought he harbored ambitions to run for president. I'd say stay tuned on that. He may be the more likely New Yorker to actually get in if he can finagle a way to explain that.
How about, let's take a look. We mentioned the IDC, all right, and on your list of winners, Alessandra Biaggi. Explain why she's a winner and what impact it might have on the IDC.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest upset, the biggest surprise of election night. She beat Jeff Klein. He's a state senator from the Bronx. He had started 8 years ago the Independent Democratic Conference. This is a group, a breakaway group that had partnered with Republicans. For years, it had kind of flown under the radar, but I think in the era of Trump, You had a lot of progressives, a lot of Democrats that were really unhappy at that cooperation. Earlier this year, the IDC was disbanded, but it wasn't enough. Biaggi was successful, knocked out Klein, who is a real influential power broker in Albany.
Again on your list of winners, Letitia James.
Another big winner. She is a New York City public advocate. She won a crowded primary for state attorney general. Actually did pretty well, better than the polls had suggested. There's some undecided voters going into the night.
That was a hotly contested primary.
It was. Yeah, and she's going to be, the top prosecutor in the state as long as she wins against the Republican candidate, which seems pretty likely.
Looking down the road, do you think that might be positioning her for a run at mayor?
Possibly mayor. I would say more likely the state attorney general has been a springboard to governor.
The governor's position.
And that would be a historic win for her. Again, if she wins in the general as attorney general, that's a historic win. First African-American woman in a statewide post.
As we said, John, always a lot to talk about when we visit with you. Thanks for spending some time. I look forward to our next conversation.
Thank you.
You be well.